Cleveland.com game picks for Ohio State, Michigan. Steven Means, what you got? Buckeyes, Wolverines, noon on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm going to go 24-14 Ohio State wins. Kind of under the same premise as last week, even though it didn't work out that way last week, where it's going to be tight for most of the first half, especially if the weather is bad and you're forced to run the ball a lot more often, which means longer drives. Ohio State had that against Penn State. It took like 5 minutes to score on like the first two or three drives just because they ran the ball most of the time. And then at some point in the game, I think Ohio State will be able to pull away, mainly because its defense will get stops like it has all season.
9-point line, is that what you said?
9-point line, yeah.
So you're saying take Ohio State -9. You've got a 10-point win for the Buckeyes. Nathan.
I'm going in the other direction very slightly. I'm going to go 23-15 Ohio State. But I think it's going to play out pretty similar to last week. A competitive game. Ohio State's going to have to fight it out to the end, but I don't know that I see them having to come from behind to win this game. It's a game where they could still be out in front, but just a game that stays relatively close because Michigan is playing at home. Michigan is the elements are potentially going to be adverse, and Michigan's a really good team that is playing its best football of the year. This is, if you had told people at the beginning of the season that Ohio State was going to beat Michigan 23-15, I think people would have been pretty happy with that because everyone thought Michigan was going to be really strong. They struggled early. They're starting to finally put it together. I just think it's still a game where Ohio State's defense is the difference in the game.
I sometimes fall into this, and I talk about how the rivalry has been so lopsided, and going into a game, you always know who's going to win. The rivalry, the results have been lopsided. Ohio State's won 16 of the last 17, but a lot of the games have been close. A lot of the games have been nuts. And I think it's time for like a super nutty game again. Like if you think about what Ohio State had to do at Michigan in 2013 when that terrible Michigan team almost beat them and went for 2 to win the game and Tyrus Powell had to intercept it. You think about in 2016 with the spot and J.T. Barrett. You think about 2017, the way Dwayne Haskins had to come into that game on an important drive and help Ohio State win. I think it's that tight. I think it is that tight, and I'm predicting it comes down to like Michigan on a final drive to try to win the game and something like Chase Young getting a sack on 3rd down or something like that, forcing like a 48-yard field goal to tie that Michigan misses with 1 second left. And like Ohio State wins 31-28. I know the weather's not going to be great, it seems like. I think both offenses will still be able to move it. I think Ryan Day gets indoctrinated right away with like how ridiculous this rivalry can be. And I think it's going to be back and forth all day. I would definitely take Michigan plus the points, and I just feel like it's going to – when you think about it, you start going back, yeah, Ohio State's won 16-17, but you go back and say, well, that was nuts, that was nuts, that was nuts, that was nuts. And there are a lot of times when Ohio State was lucky to win because there's not luck in this game. There's finding a way. Ohio State's often found a way. I think they'll find it a way again by Michigan missing a field goal in the last play of the game.
That's really specific.
Well, here's the thing about being specific. If you're wrong, nobody cares, and if you're right – you're a legend. Nathan, Steven, Doug, see you Saturday in Ann Arbor for cleveland.com.